We'll throw it over to tennis talk now, Max. I know you've got an update on the ATP Finals here.
That's right. And what really does, at the end of the day, feel like a feel good moment, Novak Djokovic wins his sixth ATP final championship in Turin, tying Roger Federer for the most ever wins at that event and becoming the oldest player to ever do it by a good 5 years. He hadn't won it since 2015, losing his last two finals appearances to Murray in 2016 and Zverev in 2018. He had a tough-ish outing against Taylor Fritz, had to go to the tiebreak in both sets to get there. His opponent, Rudd, got through Rublev much more handily, admittedly not Rublev's best tennis. But going in, looking at each of their last matches, you weren't sure. Though on Djokovic's side, he had never lost a set to Rudd in the three matches they had played. And in the end, that it was more of the same. But Rudd, a dangerous player in his own right. It just seems like Djokovic had all the tools. Um, the serve of Rudd, fantastic. I don't think it was much below his usual level. Just Djokovic is going to get more first serves in than almost anybody else. And when you put those second serves in, he's going to make you pay. The forehand was really Rudd's biggest weapon that just looked dismantled. It just didn't seem to trouble Novak the way it troubles almost everyone else. And the backhand that Rudd has made so much progress and improvement on throughout the year that's been much commented, still kind of looked like the backhand of old against Novak. He picked it apart mercilessly at the right times. But Rudd did play well in his very first service game. Djokovic had two break points chances, and kind of reminiscent of the other week in Paris. He had a second serve return that he put out, and then Rudd got into it. He hadn't put a single first serve in up to that 15-40 score. Missed that first serve, but then when Djokovic missed the second serve return, it's like gave Rudd another chance, a second life. He made the most of it, and had first serves to hold there. Managed to get back and forth pretty quick. I don't think Rudd got to the 30 mark on Djokovic's service games more than four times throughout the match. And two of those were in the later stages. This first set especially was just lightning. For Novak, he wasn't able to consistently challenge every game. Rudd had a lot of easy holds, great service games too, but he found his moments. When he was up 4-3, he was able to generate another break point after being down 30 love. He played some just classic forehand points by him. And when you're up 30 love, you go down and then you find yourself tied at 30-30. The tension rises. Rudd makes a bit of a silly play at the net because he was also so focused on staying on his forehand when he could and staying off his backhand. But he takes a shot that you make in your sleep on your backhand and gets the point on his forehand and muffs it. But Djokovic wasn't able to return the serve again, so Rudd held on there. Seemed like we were going to the tiebreak at 6-5 Djokovic, but he made his move. An error from Rudd early, and then Novak just paints the line, like the classic, whips it forehand wide, goes short wide, then really hard wide, and then a ridiculous one that he keeps on his forehand, keeps on the line to get the break point. And this is what impressed me most, though. So he'd had three break chances at this point, and he'd kind of miffed two of the three of them, where he had a serve to play, and he tried to do too much with it, and he was out of the chance before it had even gone underway. So you saw him slow it down, make sure he got the serve in play, and then just bring the pace down, find his moments, slowly build up the point, and work towards the error from Rudd, attack the backhand when the angle was there, but know that he can hang with him on the forehands if the backhand isn't there and not force it. And sure enough, in those that long rally, found an error from Rudd. First set, Novak. Quicker into the second set, at 2-1 for Djokovic. Rudd has an early error. Djokovic makes another great shot, then another error for Rudd, and Novak has 2 break points again. He goes right back to what worked late in that first set, makes sure he gets the serve in, takes his time with the rally, increases the pressure, backhand, backhand, backhand till he's got Rudd out wide, and eventually draws the error. Wasn't sure where it was going to go from there. Rudd, it was kind of reminiscent of that match against Nadal at the French Open, where he was showing a lot of respect for his opponent, and he had his moments, but just seemed unable to threaten with his own breaks, and like the respect had him a little outclassed. The fighting's like just a lot more applauding points than you typically see when guys are in that competitive mindset. But he did manage to make one move in the game deciding match, or the match deciding game. He got it to 30-30, and then he took a page out of Novak's book. Like, I'm not going to try and do too much with it. I'm just going to make sure I put the ball in, put the ball deep, put tough shape on it, and I'm going to make you play tennis and beat me mano a mano. And it was a 36 shot rally. The tension was kind of nonstop. Those were some of the best backhands Rudd had of the match, just managing to keep them deep in the corner and with enough pace that Novak couldn't attack it relentlessly. And then as soon as the angle was there, he switched to his forehand and not get locked in too much. But Novak managed to be simply better. Kept attacking the shots, dictating the rally, but also playing with the right level of caution. And 36 shots in, he was able to set up his winner. Next point, he gets an ace for the championship. And like I said at the start, it felt good to, in a year where certain people thought he wouldn't be able to attend, let alone win Grand Slams. Where as of April, it was a kind of a question of, is this guy going to be ranked at the end of the year? He's able to really recuperate, have some success on the clay season, have Wimbledon, and had one of the best winning percentages on the tour, if not the best. Unfortunate Alcaraz not here. That's a bit of an asterisk on the tournament, but taking care of your body throughout the season, an important part of success in tennis. So obviously really looking forward to the Australian, which it sounds like Novak will be playing at from what I gathered of the commentators talking. But with all, I am biased. The way I feel about how Kyrie Irving and other NBA players, other NFL athletes have handled their anti-vax stance, and the way Novak has is different. But especially once we got into the second half of the year and he wasn't able to play at the US Open, I found it really disappointing and upsetting. And just as a fan of the guy, with so much adversity, probably, as the commentators said, the lowest lows he's had in any professional season of his career. It felt really good to see him cap it off with a win in his family. So happy for Novak.
I was very close to my hot take now back in January, where I said no Grand Slams. He does get one, and he gets the extra kind of fifth Grand Slam on top. And you know what? Sometimes you're wrong, and it doesn't happen often for me, but I'll take this one. And yeah, congrats to Novak on a great season.